Hey, I'm Alan. Welcome to Bros Fitness. Welcome to tonight's class. My goal is not just to create videos, but to inform and motivate you. So comment, subscribe, or follow along at brosfitness.com. Tonight we're going to be moving through a series of movements of asana and pranayama intended to cultivate a sense of relaxation. If you don't have a towel or some blocks, now would be a great time to get some. When you're ready, go ahead and meet me on the mat, and we'll find ourselves in a comfortable seated position. Remember what leg you have forward. Go ahead and take any subtle movements that you need to. When you're ready, inhale, send your arms to the sky, and exhale, drop your hands down in front of your chest, prayer pose. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. Start to take notice of your breath. If it's in your practice, go ahead and activate your Ujjayi breath by bringing constriction to the back of your throat, bringing in the sensation of the ocean waves. Go ahead and set an intention for tonight's practice, whether it's to unwind for the day or to reach some sort of pose. Wherever you're at, when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and send your hands up. Bring your gaze up if it's accessible for you, and we'll come back down into one more prayer pose. Grab the tops of your knees, and we'll move into a seated cat-cow. Inhale, arch your back up, bring your gaze up. Exhale, soften down, round top of the back. Go ahead and move on your own breath. Inhaling up, arching, finding a gaze up if it's in your practice, rounding down. We'll continue to move here for 5 breaths on your own time. When you're ready, inhale and meet me up with your hands above our heads. Exhale, come down for a cactus. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus one more time. Inhale up. Exhale. If it's accessible for you, drop your right hand, fingers facing away from your body. Bring your left hand to your right knee. Bring your gaze over your right shoulder and find a twist to the right. As you inhale, draw the lower belly in, knit the ribs in, and bring your crown up. Extend from the tailbone all the way up. And as you exhale, can you find just a little bit of a deeper twist to the right? Inhale, come slightly out of it. Drawing in the lower belly. Exhale. Twist a little bit deeper. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, left hand behind you, right hand to your left knee. Go ahead and find a twist to your left. Bringing your gaze over your left shoulder if it's accessible for you, towards your nose if you'd like. Wherever you're at, keep noticing your breath. Draw the low belly in, extend through the crown. As you exhale, can you find just a little bit of a deeper twist to the left, gently? Inhale, arms up, and exhale, bring them down back to prayer pose in front of heart center. I'm going to go ahead and face the front of my mat. Go ahead and come into a child's pose with your legs a little bit wide. Make enough space to accommodate your torso. We're going to stay here for a couple of rounds of breath on your own time. If it's accessible for you, you can go ahead and bring your palms all the way forward and your forehead down to the mat. If you'd like to, you can go ahead and bring a block down in order to support your body. I'm going to use a block just for now. As you inhale, fill the belly. As you exhale, draw the hips back just a little bit more. Maintain the natural curvature of your spine. If it's accessible for you, you can go ahead and rock back and forth with your forehead on your block or the mat. If you do have a block, we're going to be moving very shortly, so I would advise bringing it out of the way. Keep breathing, keep noticing your breath. Inhale, look towards your hands. Exhale, walk them to the left side, feeling a stretch on the right side body. Inhale, balance your hips. Check to see which one came forward, which one came back. As you exhale, I'm going to bring my right hip back. Inhale, send energy to your right side body, feeling a stretch all the way from your hip towards your right hand. Inhale, come back to center. Press your forehead into the mat if it's accessible for you. On your next exhale, walk your hands to the right side. Walk your hands back to center and begin to walk your hands back towards your body, sitting up into a comfortable thunderbolt position. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Inhale, send your arms to the sky. Exhale, drop them in front of your heart center. Palms together. Come back to your intention. If you've let your mind wander, bring it back to your breath. Inhale, fill the belly, the mid-chest, and the upper chest. Exhale everything out through your mouth. Inhale, belly, mid-chest, and upper chest. Out through your mouth. Inhale one more time, belly, mid-chest, upper chest. Exhale out. Open your eyes, bring back your gaze, walk your hands forward into a tabletop pose. Press your palms into the earth. We'll take about two and cat cow. Here we go. Arch your back, inhale, look up. Draw the low belly in. Exhale, round, press your palms into the earth, feeling grounded through all four corners of the hands. Inhale up. Exhale, cat. Come back to tabletop pose, pressing both palms into the earth. Press your right hand into the earth and send your left hand to the sky if it's in your practice. We're going to thread it through, coming down to the mat, drawing our left hand through to our right side. Begin to walk your hand towards the top of your mat if it's accessible for you. Draw the hips back just a little bit. Continue to draw your left arm forward. Balance the hips, right hip back, left hip forward. Walk your right hand back towards your body, press into the mat, and come out. Sending our right hand back up, our left hand back up. Drop your left hand down to the mat. Feel grounded through all four corners of both palms. Inhale, send your right arm to the sky. Exhale, thread through to the other side. Begin to walk your left hand towards the top of your mat. And walk your hips back. Inhale, bring your left hip back, right hip forward. Exhale, move the left hand just a little bit more forward. Inhale, draw the low belly in. Exhale, begin to walk your left hand back towards your body. Press into the earth. Draw your right hand back out. Send it to the sky. And exhale, palms down. When you're feeling ready, go ahead and press your palms into the earth, tuck your toes, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Send your hips to the sky. We won't stay here too long tonight, I hope. Go ahead and bring your biceps forward, your triceps back, relax your shoulders down your back. Inhale, bring your heels up, your knees down, and as you exhale, straighten your legs, sending your hips just a little bit higher. If it's accessible for you, bring your gaze to your navel, and we'll take 5 breaths. 1. 2. If this is not in your practice also, you can always drop down to your knees and come into child pose, making enough space for your torso, feeling a stretch through your hips and your back. 3. Biceps forward, triceps back. 4. Draw the low belly in. 5. Bring your right knee into a bend and bring it out to your nose. Bring it back, come back down to downward facing dog. Bend your knee, send it out to your left elbow, and come back. Press into downward facing dog. Right elbow to right knee to right elbow. Send it back, downward facing dog. Bend your knee, send your right foot to your hands. Exhale, drop your left knee down. We'll inhale, come up into a low lunge. If it's accessible for you, press your palms together, or otherwise keep them out, fingertips together. Stack your joints, shoulders over hips, knee over ankle. Extend forward, press your palms to the earth. Engage the left knee, send your right leg back. Chaturanga. And inhale into cobra. Press into the earth, tuck your toes, send your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Engage the left foot. Draw a bend in the left leg. Inhale, bring it up to your nose. Exhale, back down to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring it up to your right elbow. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Left knee to left elbow. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find a bend in the left knee, send it up to your hands. Drop your right knee down, and inhale, come up into crescent lunge. Press your palms together if it's accessible in your practice. Otherwise, keep them out. Keeping the fingertips together, feel energy moving through all 4 corners of your front foot. Press your left inside foot into the ground, feeling engagement in the inner thigh. Press your hands down. Bring your right knee up. Inhale, we'll come up into warrior 1. Drop your back, heel down. We'll go ahead and switch our gaze. Keep your hands up. Bring them to your hips. Bring your feet parallel to your mat, parallel to each other. Face the side of your mat. Go ahead and change your gaze, bringing your right leg as your forward leg. Come up, warrior 1. Try and press your right knee out just a little bit if you find it tucking in. Ensure that all of the joints are stacked, shoulders over hips. Your front knee over your ankle. When you're ready, come down. Press your hands into the earth, send your right leg back. Come down, chaturanga, knees, chest, chin pose. We'll stay here for just a second, accentuating this part of the pose. When you're ready, press up. Come into cobra. And this time we're going to press back and come into puppy pose. Send your hips to the sky. Bring your head down to the mat. Hips up. Send your arms forward to the top. Keep engagement through your toes. Begin to walk your hands back. And exhale, we'll press into downward facing dog. 5 breaths. 1, 2, bend your knees, bring your heels up, extend your legs. 3, wrap the biceps forward, triceps back. 4, 5, 'Send your left leg to the sky. Exhale, bring it to your hands. Drop your right heel down. Sweep your arms up. Warrior 2. We'll stay here for a couple of rounds of breath. Go ahead and focus your gaze on your nose or your index fingers. If you've let your mind wander, take extra care to bring it back to your breath. If you've let your mind wander to other thoughts, acknowledge them and keep breathing. Inhale. Untuck the right heel, send your arms to the sky. Crescent lunge, high crescent lunge. If it's accessible for you, bring your palms together and look up for a mini back bend. Otherwise, keep them aside. Keep them apart. Drop your right heel down. Bring your left foot parallel to your right. And we'll come into 5-star pose. Go ahead and send your right foot forward, and we'll come into warrior 2 on this side. Kick your left heel up and come into crescent lunge on this side. Bring your hands together and look up if it's accessible. Otherwise, keep them apart. Bring your palms down, back down to the earth. Warriors, runner's lunge. Send your right leg back. Come down, chaturanga. Knees, chest, chin pose. And inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. If you've joined me in upward facing dog, press the tops of your feet into the earth. Engage your legs. Engage your core. Draw over your toes. Send your hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 'Send your right leg to the sky. Bring it up to your hands. Drop your left knee down. Go ahead and walk your right leg out, and we'll come onto our hands. Ensure that your hands somewhere to close to parallel with your feet. Press into the left hip flexor by bringing the left foot back if it's in your practice. When you're ready, go ahead. Walk your foot between your hands. If you have some blocks, now's a great time to grab them. Ensure that your back knee, is stacked over your hips. And when you're ready, walk your right foot forward. Sit your hips back. Bring your toes up and engage the foot. And begin to walk your blocks forward, coming into half splits. Inhale. Wherever you're at, keep breathing. Exhale, extend down. Begin to walk your blocks back towards your body. Walk your right foot back towards your body, finding a bend in your right knee. Press your palms into the earth. Engage your left leg. Bring your left knee up. Come down to downward dog. Send your right leg to the sky. Find a bend in your right knee. Draw the right foot behind your body. Come back to center. Send your right leg to the sky and drop it down. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Bring it up to your hands. Drop your right knee down. Grab your blocks. Oh, we got a hip flexor stretch, I lied. Send your left leg out to the side. If you want to keep your blocks here and bring the floor to you, that's also a great way to use them. You can press into your hip flexor by bringing your right leg back towards your mat, back towards the back of your mat. Walk your left foot in between your hands. And when you're ready, press your hands into the earth. Engage the right leg. Draw the toes in. Send your left leg to the sky. Find a bend in the left leg. Kick it over behind you. Send your left leg up. Drop it down. Come into downward facing dog. We'll drop down onto our knees and we'll come into a child pose. Send your hands forward. If you used a block earlier in child's pose, try and bring your head down to the mat. If you've let your mind wander from your breath, now is a great chance to bring it back. Inhale. Exhale. Begin to walk your hands back towards your body. We'll come into a modified tabletop pose, a hybrid between thunderbolt pose and tabletop pose. Bring your hands forward, press your fingers down towards your mat. Begin to draw your fingers pretty close to towards your knees, touching the fingertips with your mat and hinging very slightly forward just to find a stretch in the biceps and the under wrists. Keep the low belly engaged. The goal is, I don't think the goal is to touch your wrists down, your palms all the way down to the earth. There are some people that are super hyper flexible that can do that, but just to give yourself a little bit of a stretch in the biceps and the under wrists. Come back to center, sitting back onto your heels. Press into the earth, send your hips to the sky, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, send your right leg up. And exhale, bring your right knee to your right wrist. Drop your right foot down to the ground. Keep it engaged and sit back. We'll come into half pigeon. If you have a block nearby, you can bring it under your sit bones. Stay here for a couple of rounds of breath. If this isn't quite in your practice tonight, you can go ahead and come out of this position, pressing into downward dog. You can sit onto the ground, come into a supine position, and bring your right heel to your left knee and tuck in this way. However, if you're in pigeon, go ahead and keep bending forward, hinging at the hips. If you've got a block underneath you, which I think I'm going to use, bring it underneath your sit bones and begin to hinge forward. I'm not super flexible, so I'm going to stay probably on my forearms. But if you find yourself a little bit more flexible, you can begin to hinge forward with your hands. Come onto my elbows. Whatever's accessible in your practice, you're going to bring your face down to your block. Inhale, press up a little bit. And as you exhale, can you find just a little bit more of a stretch down towards the earth? If you're on your back, inhale and bring your knee just a little bit closer to your chest. Exhale, feel relaxation through the piriformis on the right side of your hips. Inhale, wherever you're at, send energy back towards your right hip. Draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Begin to walk your hands back towards your body. And inhale up if it's in your practice. Press your palms into the earth if you've got a block underneath your sit bones. Go ahead and bring it out. Engage the left leg. Grab by bringing the left knee up. When you're ready, press your palms into the earth. Send your right leg to the sky. Find a bend. Take a hip stretch. Sending your right leg behind your body. Send it back up and drop it down to the earth. Downward facing dog. We'll come into plank and take a chaturanga here on your own time. Inhaling into cobra whenever you're ready. And exhaling into downward facing dog. Left leg up. Send your left knee to your left wrist. Engage the right leg, or engage the left foot, protecting the left knee. Draw the right foot back. If you're on your back in the supine version of half pigeon, just take it to the other side, bringing your left ankle to your right knee. If you're still with me in pigeon, and you used a block last time underneath your sit bones, this would be a great time to grab it. When you're ready, inhale, look up, if it's in your practice, and when you're ready, exhale, we'll come down onto our forearms. If it's in your practice, walk your hands forward. Take whatever variation you took on the other side. Inhale, extend through the body. Draw yourself up just a little bit. And as you exhale, can you come down to the earth just a little bit more? Yeah, wherever you're at, inhale, send energy into the left hip. Draw the left hip back, your right hip forward. Feel it in your left side. Draw in the low belly, extend through the crown. When you're ready, begin to walk your hands back towards your body. If you have a block underneath your hips, go ahead and grab it out. Engage the right leg, bring the right knee up. Exhale, downward facing dog, send your left leg up. Bend at the left knee and send your left foot behind you. Come back to center, drop your left leg down, downward facing dog. Bring your gaze forward, heels high, knees low. Walk or jump to the top of the mat. And inhale, halfway lift. Exhale down. Find a bend in the left leg. Drop the left arm down and extend through the right side, keeping the right leg straight. Send your right arm to the sky. As you inhale, can you bring your right hip forward and send your left hip back? Exhale, drop your palms to the earth. Extend your legs. Find a bend in your knees. Draw your chest over them. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, draw your chest over your thighs. If it's accessible for you, begin to straighten your hamstrings, finding Uttanasana, the complete expression of Uttanasana. Otherwise, if it's more accessible for you, go ahead and keep your knees bent. That's okay too. Press your palms into the earth. Bend your right knee, straighten your left leg. Press your right palm into the earth or to a block and send your left arm to the sky. Inhale, right, send your right hip back, left hip forward. And exhale, extend down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, we'll rise all the way up. Bring your palms together in front of heart center. Close your eyes. Notice if you let your mind wander. If you let it wander to other thoughts, acknowledge those thoughts. And bring your attention back to your breath. Inhale. If you've activated your Ujjayi breath, keep going with it, keeping the constriction in the back of your throat. If you've let it fade, bring it back. Constrict the back of your throat. Inhale. Exhale. If you've closed your eyes or soften your gaze, bring attention back and inhale, send your arms to the sky. We'll come into a mini back bend, bring our palms together if it's successful, and exhale. We'll drop our back bend, drop our arms down into cactus. Soften the knees. Inhale back to center. Bring your toes and your inner thighs together, and we'll sit back into chair pose, Utkatasana. Keep your knees forward. Keep the natural curvature of your spine. Exhale, come down into prayer pose, and extend over your knees. Extend down to the earth. And when you're ready, we'll drop, or we'll walk or jump to the back of the mat. Come down Chaturanga, and inhale into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Come over your toes, send your hips to the sky, Downward Facing Dog. And exhale, drop your knees to the ground. Bring your toes together, and we'll sit back into a comfortable seated position. If you remember earlier which of your feet you had forward, go ahead and switch them this time. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, we'll come into a bind behind our body. If you have a towel, now would be a great time to use it. If you can't exactly bring your hands together, we've got our palms facing each other. A more difficult variation of this would be to bring your hands together. Otherwise, you can just grab a towel with your palms facing away from your body. We'll go ahead and hinge forward, keeping our shoulders tucked. You can't get very far in easy pose, but I just wanted to do a little bit of a chest opener. If it's accessible for you, you can bring your fists together, as I said, or otherwise bring your hands together in a prayer pose. I don't have that much flexibility in my shoulders, but I can bring my fingers interlaced behind my back. Inhale, bring your shoulders up, and exhale, bring them down your back. Inhale, up your chest. Exhale, down your back. When you're ready, we'll come into a thunderbolt pose. Sitting our hips back onto our heels. Knees forward, palms onto our thighs. If it's accessible for you, inhale, extend through the crown, keeping your back straight. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. Bring yourself back to your intention tonight. When you're ready, go ahead and walk your hands forward. And we'll sit back into child's pose. Inhale, press your hands into the earth. Exhale, can you walk them forward, extend through the hips. Begin to walk your hands back. And exhale, we'll press into downward facing dog one last time tonight. We'll momentarily revisit the hardest things tonight as we move through them slowly and cool down. Inhale, 3 breaths. 1. 2. 3. When you're ready, bring it bend to your right knee. Send your right foot to your hands. We'll come up very slowly for crescent lunge one last time. I'm going to switch my gaze just so you all can see me where we're headed next. Go ahead and bring your left heel down. Turn your right forward, and we'll come into star pose. If you don't have your towel, now would be a great time to grab it or have it nearby. From here, go ahead and grab your hips. Begin to hinge forward if you have a block accessible and you can't reach the mat. This is a great time to grab it and use it to bring the floor to you. Otherwise, bring your palms down, hinge at the hips, keep your legs engaged by pressing all 4 corners of both feet into the earth. Feel energy moving from your feet all the way through your body. Control it. Send it back into the earth through your hands. Press all 4 corners both into the ground. Engage the inner thighs by pressing the insides of your feet into the earth. Begin to walk your hands to your hips. Engage your core, and we'll swing back up to center. Keeping your hands on your hips, or grabbing your towel. We'll do it one more time. Otherwise, you can go ahead and interlace your hands with your palms facing each other behind your back. That is another variation. Here we go. Keep your back straight, engage through the insides of your feet. Press into the earth through all 4 corners of your feet. If this is too difficult for you, you can always bring your hips to your hands. Inhale, extend from the tailbone to your crown. And exhale, hinge forward just a little bit more. Drop your hands to the earth and press them into your hips. Come back to center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, prayer pose. Walk your feet in just a little bit. Walk them out. And we'll come into goddess pose, finding a bend in our knees. Press into your feet, come back to center. Inhale up and exhale. Bring your hands to your hips. We'll take one last version of Virabhadrasana by beginning to slide our hands down our thigh to our shins and towards our feet. Press into the insides of your feet to engage the inner thigh. Inhale, come up just a little bit. Can you extend from the tailbone to the crown just to create a straight line in your back, keeping the natural curvature? Exhale down. You get to walk your hands up your thighs, send your left leg forward, bringing your toes parallel with the front of your mat. Send your gaze forward, and we'll come into warrior one on this side. Ensure your back leg is maintained at 45 degrees. On the exhale, we'll come down to the earth. Walk your right foot to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Grab the opposing elbows, and we'll come into ragdoll. Bend the knees. Press into the earth with your hands. Drop your right foot behind your left, and we'll come into a seated pose. Press your feet into the earth, and we'll begin to drop back one vertebra at a time. Press your palms into the earth. We'll take a bridge pose from here. Press all four corners of both feet. If you have a block, now would be a really good time to grab it. We'll take a restorative yoga pose here. Gather yourself, take any subtle movements you need to, and when you're ready, inhale. Press into the mat with all four corners of your hands and the feet. Send your hips up. If it's accessible for you and you have your block, go ahead and bring it just a little bit underneath your lower back towards the sacrum, finding a resting pose with your hips and bridge. Press all four corners of both feet into the mat. It doesn't seem like it makes sense since you're relying on the block, but enjoy the pose for the restorative nature of not having to engage entirely through the center. Draw the low belly in, knit the ribs in. If it's accessible for you, you can find a bind with your fingers. Make sure you're pressing through all four corners of the feet to keep the thighs and your legs engaged. Take the block out, we'll drop our hips down to the earth. Walk your feet to the outsides of the mat, left foot to the left side. Let your knees sink in towards the center. Earlier I called this clunking, but I'm not sure. It's a great sound you want to make with your knees, but let them clunk towards each other. Soften through the spine and lower back. Begin to walk your feet back together. And we'll come in to Supine Konasana if this is in your practice tonight. If you're unfamiliar, it's a butterfly on your back. Otherwise, begin to bring your feet towards each other, feeling first the insides of both feet touching. Say hey, hey inside feet. Begin to draw your soles together and begin to walk your feet back towards your glutes, dropping your knees down towards the mat. We're going to stay here for a few rounds of breath on your own time. You can take whatever subtle movements you need to with your hands. I usually like them to rest up, but I usually move them towards my hips. Wherever you're at, go ahead and take notice of your breath. Please let your mind wander. If you'd like to grab your blocks and bring them underneath your knees, you should rest them on the fleshy part of your thigh just above your knee. If you have blocks underneath your knees, go ahead and bring them out from underneath. Using both hands, draw your knees back home. Press your feet into the earth. Walk your feet out towards the sides of the mat and knock your knees back together towards the center. Feel relaxation in the spine, bringing it back to neutral. Relax the shoulders down towards the mat. Begin to walk your feet back to the center. Press your feet into the mat. And inhale, bring your knees to your chest. If you have your towel nearby, this is a great time to grab it. We're going to take some dancing Shiva variations on our back. Inhale, knees in. Exhale, drop your left leg to the mat. Grab your towel and wrap it around the top of your foot. We'll go ahead and extend our foot to the sky, grabbing both sides of the towel with our hands. If you'd like to keep a bend in your knee, that's also okay. This is a great time to do it. Take the towel in your hands and begin to move your right foot out. Keeping a bend in your knee. If it's not accessible, just keep your hamstring flexed. Make sure you've always got a micro bend in your knee. Wherever you're at, keep noticing your breath. Inhale back to center. Grab it with both hands. And when you're ready, we'll grab it with our left, bringing our right foot over to our left side. We'll take a little bit of a twist, looking over to our right hand. If you've got your knee bent, it will look something like this. Otherwise, try and press into your towel. Bring your right leg back to center. Reach up with your right hand. We'll take one last stretch. Extend your right leg up, keeping a micro bend in your knee. Find a full bend in your knee and straighten your right leg. Press your palms into the earth. Inhale, knees to your chest. Exhale, drop your right leg down. We'll take our towel over the top of our right foot, or left foot rather, and exhale, extend it up. We'll take dancing Shiva to the left first. Grab your towel and bring your left leg over to your left side. Grab your hip with your right hand and soften your gaze. Inhale, bring your foot back to center. Send your right arm up to grab your towel. Grab it with your right, and we'll send our right foot over to our left foot over to the right side. Extend your left arm out and take your gaze over if it's accessible for you. Inhale back to center, send your left arm up, find a bend in your left knee. Drop your left foot down to the mat. Send it down towards the bottom of your mat. I think we're done for the towel. And walk your feet to your hands. And inhale, bring your knees to your chest. Exhale, draw them in just a little bit closer. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Thank yourself for making it to practice tonight. If it's accessible for you, go ahead and rock back and forth, bringing a little bit of a stretch or a little bit of a massage to your lower back. Drop your feet down towards the earth. We'll cross our right leg over our left first for a twist onto our left side. Inhale, send your right arm up and drop your left leg or your right knee over to your left side. Send your right arm out and bring your gaze over. I screwed that up. Send your left leg over your right. Bring this over. There we go. That feels better. We'll come back to center. Drop your hands down to the earth. We'll bring our right leg over our left, and we'll bring that to the right side. Send your left arm out and look towards your left arm. And come back to center. Bring your knees back home. Press your feet into the earth. Walk your feet out, and we'll press our knees together in center. Walk your feet towards your glutes and inhale, bring your knees to your chest. Exhale, hug yourself one more time. If it's accessible for you, we're going to come into happy baby. Bend the knees, grab the outsides of your feet, and take any expression of happy baby that you wish. Take the baby wherever you want to go. Usually mine wants to bring his feet together. If it's accessible for you, you can go ahead and bring your peace fingers around your big toe and lock them in with your thumb. Play around, moving your legs as it feels comfortable. Bring your feet back together. We'll take one last expression of happy baby. Bring your feet back together. Drop your feet to the earth and bring your knees together. And if there are any other poses or any subtle movements that you'd like to take, any poses that we didn't happen to make it to tonight, now would be a great time to do so. We're going to come into Shavasana very shortly. If you would, for the safety of those around you, just ensure that you complete the Shavasana without interrupting those around you if you choose to leave. As we get ready for Shavasana, I'll do my best to bring us out of it. I'll give you a warning about pausing me or otherwise. If you happen to see me sitting up, you're not in the wrong spot. I'm just getting us to the end of the practice. When you're ready, inhale, bring your knees into your chest. Exhale, bring them in just a little bit closer. Hug yourself in. As you exhale, drop your hands down to the earth and send your legs out towards the bottom of your mat. Inhale, fill the belly, the mid-chest, and the upper chest. As you exhale, start to feel a relaxation from your core towards your hips, your chest. Inhale, fill the upper chest, the mid-chest, and the belly. As you exhale, start to feel relaxation from the core towards your shoulders and your knees. Inhale, fill the belly, the mid-chest, the upper chest. As you exhale, start to feel relaxation from your shoulders, through your arms, to your elbows, down your thighs to your calves. As you inhale, fill the chest, the mid-chest, the upper, and the belly. As you exhale, start to feel relaxation reverberating from your core towards your forearms and your wrists, down your calves towards your ankles. Inhale, fill the belly, the mid-chest, the upper chest. As you exhale, soften your gaze, close your eyes. Feel relaxation in your wrists, your ankles, your thumb is dropped to the earth, your pinkies stretch out, your toes, once animate, start to slow down. As you inhale, fill the chest, the mid-chest, and the belly. As you exhale, start to feel your fingers and your toes feel so totally relaxed. Begin to lose yourself in your breath, coming into Shavasana. Begin to quicken your breath. If you'd like to remain in Shavasana, now would be a great time to pause me. I'll give you a moment to do so. Inhale, fill the belly, the mid-chest, the upper chest. As you exhale, start to feel energy moving from your core, activating your chest and your hips. Inhale, fill the chest, the mid-chest, and the belly. As you exhale, start to feel energy reverberating from your core to your chest, down your arms. Your fingers start to feel activated. As you inhale, fill the belly, the mid-chest, and the upper chest. As you exhale, start to feel energy moving from your core, down your legs, activating your toes, your calves, your hamstrings, and your quads. Inhale, send your arms above your body. And as you exhale, drop everything down like a good morning stretch, feeling awake, ready, or relaxed and ready for bed. Inhale, start to walk your feet towards your body and drop your knees towards the left or the right side, coming into a fetal position on either side. Press your palms down and your body up, and we'll come into a seated pose. If you have your eyes closed, you can go ahead and keep them closed. If your gaze is softened, go ahead and keep it there. Inhale, send your arms up. And exhale, drop your hands down in prayer pose in front of third eye center. The light in the teacher in me acknowledges and appreciates the light in the teacher in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Alan. I will be around for a little bit. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.